Hey guys, Pastor Clem Salerno here. I'm the lead pastor at Calvary Tabernacle in Cranford, New Jersey, and I've been hanging out with Pastor Adam Levecki. And guys, you know how that is when you hang out with Adam. You get triggered in all kinds of things. He's pushing the kingdom, and I love that. I love his heart. And so we wanted to talk about a couple of things today, and it really kind of revolves around this concept of evangelism. But I want to kind of personalize it and simplify it if I can. From my perspective and my experience, I've been kind of engaging people in all different ways and formats. And one of the things I've learned is my first response to an individual should never be about me. And it shouldn't be about my title or my Christian resume. Okay, so I want to talk to you about engaging people where they're at. And I believe there's 4 key ways to do that. I think you can meet people first and foremost where they live, geographically. I mean, what is the environment that they find themselves? Are they living in a home they own? Are they in an apartment? Are they in Section 8 housing? Are they homeless? Are they in a shelter? Wherever they are, there's something in that sense of where they live that causes them to experience things that are relative to them. And if we can begin to meet them where they're at and understand them better and make the conversation about them, guess what? Their heart opens up and we start to get the mind of the Spirit and begin to engage them right where they're at. So it's key to meet people where they live and make it about them. Secondly, I wanted to talk to you about meeting people where they need. Now, physical needs, okay? We've got shelter, we've got food, we've got health, we've got all kinds of issues. I mean, do they rely on public transportation to get around? Do they have a job? I mean, what are some of the specific needs in their lives? And so we can begin to engage people by where we meet them by some of the things that they need, so that we can begin to get the mind of the Spirit on how we can possibly be someone who can connect them to an answer to their need. And all of a sudden, before you know it, they're going to start to believe you actually care about them. Most of the time we think witness or evangelism is about force feeding or pushing. We kind of use it in an aggressive manner. Now, come on, we're talking about North Jersey here, guys. So we cannot engage people in an aggressive manner and get through their defenses. I mean, we all grew up in this era, so we understand. We're skeptical. We have a defense. We've shield around us. We don't like people invading our public space. But I find that when you meet people in these areas where they live and where they need, their defenses come down and they start to warm up to you. And now you can take them deeper. The last 2 components are the deeper areas. It's easy to pick up where somebody lives because you're right there with them if you met them in a certain place. Also, what they need. You might be with an individual who doesn't have enough for their grocery bill. Maybe you're in a supermarket and they start to take things off of the belt, the conveyor belt, and you're right there with them. Guess what? Wouldn't it be cool to just say, hey, you know what? I got that. Let me take care of that. And then start to meet them where they have a need, and all of a sudden they're going to begin to say, wow, that was really nice. And that might be the very thing that answers a prayer that they've been crying out on the way to the supermarket. God, if you're real, show me something. Give me a sign. You might be that sign today. The last 2, again, are the deeper areas where we can meet people. The third one I like to say is this, is where people feel. It's their emotional place, the things that trigger them. What are they feeling? Are they in depression? Are they fatigued completely? Are they hopeless? Do they feel lonely, rejected? I mean, all of these emotional triggers that kind of seem to build imprisonments around individuals' lives, and all of a sudden we as individuals who might have an answer that God might use us for can begin to, you know what, your story is important to me. I really care about what you feel. Tell me, how do you feel about what's going on, in your life right now? Maybe they'll let us in that doorway where they can share something. My mom's really hurt and she's in the hospital. Wow, that must be really rough for you. I mean, that's got to make you feel a little bit, fatigued, running back and forth to the hospital. What are some of the things that are toughest for you that you're dealing with in that situation, and begin to kind of help out, But meeting people emotionally, again, is a sense of caring that goes to the deeper level. And so this is all about personal evangelism. I'm not talking about preaching a sermon on a Sunday morning. I'm talking about living life and living the kingdom. And we've got to break out of this pristine environment that we present God in and begin to engage people where they're at. The last one is the deepest, I think, because it begins to break down people's belief systems, and I call it this: meeting people where they think. All right? So it's basically unwrapping their worldview without judging them. Most of the time, all we want to do in evangelism is present our worldview without hearing about theirs. And so what we want to do in engaging people where they think is beginning to ask them questions, provoking questions, but sincere questions that will allow them to tell their story about what they believe and why they believe it. Again, growing up in North Jersey, well, I have a worldview that I had to get kind of educated on and get kind of grown out of, which was, don't trust anybody because everybody's out to take. That's the worldview I grew up with, right? And so in talking with me, if you were someone who wanted to engage me, you could probably trace back to where that all started. Well, what happened in your life? And you begin to engage them there. So unwrapping somebody's worldview is not to judge them and tell them why it's so wrong. It's to let them know that Jesus Christ understands what they think and why they think it, but He also has something for them that maybe they haven't considered. And He's right there with them in the middle of their life, where they live. He's there in their physical needs. He's centered in their emotional need. And He for sure wants to broaden their worldview and give them the sense that eternity is real. God's plan for their life and their uniqueness is real. He's got the blueprint for them, and all He wants to do is have the opportunity to roll it out and show it to them. Maybe we need to engage people in these 4 areas and make it about them and not about us. God bless, God.